The Tanzanian government is now officially reviewing a bombshell documentary by CNN that has sent shockwaves across the nation and the international community. This documentary, spearheaded by CNN's own Larry Madowo, brings to light deeply disturbing allegations of mass killings, brutal police actions, and severe human rights violations that allegedly took place during and after the country's highly contentious general election on October 29, 2025. What's at the heart of this expose? It's the raw, unfiltered footage and first-hand accounts from people on the ground. These aren't just rumors. The documentary presents what it claims as evidence of security forces, especially the police, using live ammunition on protesters. These were people who had taken to the streets to voice their anger over what they saw as a fraudulent election. The numbers being thrown around are staggering. Sources within the documentary claim that thousands of Tanzanians lost their lives in the crackdown. In response to this explosive report, the Tanzanian government, through its Ministry of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, has issued a formal statement. On November 21st, the chief government spokesman Gerson Msigwa announced that the government has taken note of the CNN documentary. They've launched an official process to review and verify every piece of information presented. The statement promised that a comprehensive government response will be released once this assessment is complete. However, what this review will look like remains a mystery. The government hasn't shared any specifics. We don't know who will be on the review panel, whether it will include independent investigators, or how long this verification process will take. This lack of transparency has left many citizens and international observers holding their breath, wondering if the review will be a genuine search for truth or a mere formality. The stakes are incredibly high, as the government's next steps will be scrutinized both at home and abroad. To really understand the weight of these allegations, we need to rewind to the 2025 election itself. It was an election clouded by controversy from the very beginning. The official results declared President Samia Suluhu Hassan the winner with an astonishing 98% of the vote. Immediately, this figure was met with widespread disbelief and condemnation from opposition parties and civil society organizations. They called it completely unrealistic and a clear sign of manipulation. The political climate was already tense, but it reached a boiling point when Tundu Lissu, the presidential candidate for the main opposition party Chadema, was barred from running. Lissu is a formidable figure in Tanzanian politics, and his exclusion was seen by many as a deliberate move to sideline any meaningful competition. This decision didn't just raise eyebrows, it ignited nationwide protests. People felt their democratic rights were being stripped away, and their trust in the electoral process evaporated. The CNN documentary dives right back into that volatile period. It shows scenes that are difficult to watch, footage of what appears to be security forces firing into crowds of unarmed civilians. You see people running for their lives, chaos erupting in the streets, and images of bodies left behind. But it's the human stories that are truly haunting. The film features interviews with survivors and witnesses who recount the events with chilling detail. They describe a campaign of widespread violence, a level of brutality that goes far beyond crowd control. Their testimonies paint a grim, terrifying picture of what happened in the days following the election. These are not just allegations of excessive force. Human rights groups are now arguing that the actions depicted could potentially amount to crimes against humanity. The documentary has given a powerful voice to those who felt silenced, bringing their stories to a global audience. With these harrowing accounts now in the public domain, the pressure on the Tanzanian government is mounting from all sides. International human rights organizations, which had previously raised concerns about the post-election violence, are now amplifying their calls for action. They are demanding a fully independent and impartial investigation into the alleged killings. They argue that the CNN expose provides strong corroboration for the claims that activists, survivors, and opposition leaders have been making for months. They insist that an internal government review is not enough. True accountability requires investigators who are free from any potential government influence. These organizations are urging the international community, including the United Nations and the African Union, to press Tanzania to ensure that justice is served. Within Tanzania, the calls for accountability are just as loud. Opposition figures, who have long accused the government of orchestrating the violence, are demanding justice for the victims and their families. They see the documentary as a crucial piece of evidence that can no longer be ignored. They are pushing for a transparent process, one that holds the perpetrators responsible, no matter how high up the chain of command they are. They warn that simply dismissing the documentary as findings or conducting a superficial review would be a grave injustice and would further erode public trust in state institutions. For the families who lost loved ones, this isn't about politics. It's a deeply personal quest for answers and closure. They want to know what happened, who is responsible, and they want to see those individuals brought to justice. As Tanzania navigates this critical juncture, the entire world is watching. The government's response to the CNN documentary will be a defining moment for the nation. It's a test of its commitment to human rights, democratic principles, and the rule of law. A thorough, transparent, and credible investigation could begin a process of national healing and reconciliation. It could help restore faith in the government and show the world that Tanzania is serious about accountability. On the other hand, a dismissive or defensive response could deepen the political divisions within the country and tarnish its international reputation for years to come. It could lead to increased diplomatic pressure and potential sanctions. The outcome of this review will have far-reaching consequences, shaping not only the domestic political landscape but also how Tanzania is perceived on the global stage. What happens next will tell us a lot about the future direction of the country. Thank you for watching. If you found this report informative, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more in-depth analysis on stories that matter from around the world. Your support helps us continue to bring you important news and updates. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a video.